If you've cut back on your drinking or stopped altogether and you're still waiting for your body to catch up, this video is for you. Because one of the most common things I hear from women is, I thought quitting or cutting back would fix everything, but I still feel sluggish, I'm still holding on to excess weight, and I still don't feel like myself. And trust me, I get it. I've worked with hundreds of women in this exact same situation and helped them reset their bodies and start feeling better. Because what most people don't realize is that years of regular drinking doesn't just add calories, it rewires our metabolism. It changes the way our liver processes fat, it disrupts our hormones, it throws off our blood sugar, and these systems don't just snap back overnight. But the good news is that they do come back. And today I'm going to walk you through exactly what alcohol does to your metabolism, what's actually happening in your body as you begin to restore function, and the specific things that you can do to help speed this process up. And stick with me until the end because I'm going to share with you how you can get real guided support doing this work inside a program I specifically built for women going through exactly this. Now let's start with the foundation because most of the conversation around alcohol and weight focuses on calories, and that completely misses the point. Your body treats alcohol as a toxin. Now that's not just my opinion, that is biochemistry. And when alcohol enters our system, our liver immediately drops everything else and prioritizes breaking down the toxin. Ethanol, or alcohol, gets converted into a toxic compound called acetaldehyde, and our body wants to clear this out as soon as possible. So while it is doing this, it will deprioritize another important function known as fat burning. And this is the key insight. Alcohol doesn't just add to your caloric load, it actually pauses fat metabolism while alcohol is being processed. Now, studies show that fat oxidation can drop by 30% or more after moderate drinking and significantly higher with heavier intake. That means our body is actually hitting the brakes every time we take a drink on metabolizing fat. Now, multiply that by years of regular drinking a few times per week, or if you are like I was, drinking most nights, you spend a significant portion of your evenings and your sleep in a state where fat burning is suppressed. And this has a cumulative effect. It doesn't just automatically reverse the moment that you put down the drink. Your liver is the organ that gets the most attention around regular alcohol use, but most people don't realize that it's also at the center of our metabolism. When the liver is chronically processing alcohol, two things happen on the fat side. Number one, fat burning gets suppressed. And number two, the liver can actually start producing more fat through a process called de novo lipogenesis, which basically means making new fat from scratch. Now, some of that fat accumulates in the liver itself, which is how we can end up with fatty liver disease. And this can happen in people who don't even really consider themselves heavy drinkers. It can also happen in those who consume high amounts of carbohydrates and sugar. The rest of the fat moves into circulation as triglycerides. And this is why I so often see elevated triglycerides in lab work in people who drink regularly, even when everything else looks fine on paper. The good news about the liver is that it's regenerative, and studies show that fatty liver can begin to reverse within weeks of stopping or significantly cutting back on alcohol. But it needs support, which is where nutrition becomes a real helpful tool. Another piece that doesn't automatically reset is your blood sugar. Now, you've heard me talk about blood sugar before, but not so much as it relates to our metabolism and maintaining a healthy weight. Alcohol disrupts blood sugar in two directions. So on one hand, if we consume sugary drinks like wine or cocktails or beer, this will spike our blood sugar. But on the other hand, the alcohol itself actually suppresses the liver's ability to release glucose, which can actually lead to a drop in blood sugar. What happens is we get this roller coaster effect, a spike, then a drop, then cravings, and this can play a role in how one glass turns to two, turns to three, and the next thing you know, you're craving something to eat late at night. After years of this pattern, your blood sugar regulation can take time to stabilize. Insulin sensitivity can decline, your body gets used to riding that roller coaster, and this can show up for you as waking up at 3 a.m., maybe even waking up hungry at 3 a.m., carb cravings that feel biological, energy crashes in the afternoon, and mood swings that track with your meals. The key for rebalancing here is stabilizing your blood sugar through strategic eating. Protein at every single meal, not skipping breakfast, not going long stretches without food. This is how we retrain your blood sugar regulation after years of disruption. Now let's touch on hormones, because the hormonal effects of regular drinking are real and they're usually very, very overlooked. First, let's talk about cortisol. Alcohol elevates cortisol, our body's stress hormone, and consistently elevated cortisol tells our body to hold on to fat, particularly in the abdomen. Even though we think alcohol helps to reduce our stress, it actually makes our stress worse over time. Now let's talk about estrogen. Alcohol raises estrogen levels because when the liver is busy processing alcohol, it deprioritizes metabolizing and clearing excess estrogen. This is particularly important for women who are perimenopausal and menopausal, where their hormonal picture is already starting to shift. So it's not to say that alcohol could be the main cause of hormonal imbalances, but it could be making those hormone imbalances worse. As alcohol comes out of the picture, the estrogen load can start to clear, and we'll talk about how the liver needs nutritional support to do that. So let's talk about what you can actually do, because stopping or reducing alcohol is not always the whole picture. We often have to do a little bit of work to bring the body back into balance. So number one is adding liver support foods. My absolute favorite is beets and cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, kale. These support the liver's detox pathways, including estrogen clearance. And don't forget adequate hydration, which helps the liver do its job faster. This isn't an option for my clients. It is key to solving the puzzle. Number two is rebuild with protein. Prioritizing protein at every single meal helps to stabilize our blood sugar. It helps to minimize cravings for alcohol, for sugar, for carbs, and it supports our metabolism. I always suggest aiming for 25 to 35 grams of protein at each meal. Number three, stabilizing your blood sugar first. Have breakfast within 1 hour of waking up. Have something to eat every 3 to 4 hours, and always pair carbs with protein or fat. This helps to retrain that blood sugar system. If we skip meals, we can often find that this is a big trigger that can lead us back to cravings or drinking. And number four, give it a little time. Metabolic recovery after regular drinking is not instant. The scale might not move for weeks while your liver is healing or while your hormones are normalizing. And I like to suggest tracking things like energy, sleep quality, and cravings first. These will shift before your weight does, and they're actually more meaningful markers than the number on the scale. This is exactly the kind of layered biology first work that I do with women inside of the plan. Because the truth is that a lot of programs ask you to restrict more, do more, try harder, white knuckle it harder. But if your metabolism has been disrupted by years of drinking, that approach actually misses the entire problem. Before change is possible, we need to support the systems underneath, like the liver, our blood sugar, and our hormonal balance. And that is what the plan is built around. The plan is a 10-week small group program for women who are ready to work with their biology and not against it. And for a lot of the women that I've worked with, cutting back or letting go of alcohol happens as a side effect. Not because they're forcing it, but because their body stops asking for it. And if that's the kind of reset that you're looking for, I'd love for you to take a look. So you can check out the link below or head to brookescheller.com/the-plan, and I will see you in the next episode.